Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 80 hell, of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's wandering around towns with me tonight?
Lost in the fog, Michael K. Hughes.
Nurse Helena.
And then just some wondrous lost soul out of Merica.
Welcome. And Adam, since you're probably we were the most passionate out of any of us that were playing this game before we started playing, why don't you introduce what we're talking about tonight?
We are talking about Silent Hill 2. It's a cult classic in the survival horror genre. Very well praised for the storytelling and gameplay and sound and art style that this game went into. It was released in 2001 on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox later that year by Konami. Yeah, I lost a little enthusiasm halfway through that again.
This is going to be great.
And which I think we'll hit on. But no, I loved this game as a kid. It was scary. It was horrifying. I would say it was probably in my top 3 survival horror games of all time.
I'm going to ask that question what it is later. Before we get too far, I just want to put a quick trigger warning in because we probably will end up talking about rape and murder and abuse and lots of different things. I'm sure that will come up in this conversation as we suicide as we talk about this game. So just give a quick warning out there. This is a dark ass game, and
in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Unless you turn the brightness up.
Even then, it's still dark. But anything else I'm missing that I should say?
Who was this directed by? Masashi Tsuboyama?
Hey, you pronounced better than I would have.
Thanks.
Unfortunately, not the best compliment since you know how I pronounce things.
Yeah.
I missed this compliment.
Yeah. I remember when you were trying to pronounce Loic.
Loic or Loic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. I felt bad. That was the worst one.
I don't know. We had one that was pretty bad recently, but I can't remember what it was now.
But it wasn't a guest on the show that could critique me as I'm talking.
That's true.
That was rough. All right. This is a game. I do have a few memories. I have a vague memory of renting this game when I was in Statesboro, Georgia, which is a town in the middle of nowhere at the time. And we rented a PS2. I played this for like a night or two, had no idea what to do. And I remember it freaked the hell out of me because we were in a house that was like miles away from anybody. Not the game to play, and you're miles away from nobody.
Similar setting. I lived back in the country, and my friend lived on top of a mountain. He was the only house in a 3-story log cabin, and his driveway was a mile-long dirt road. You had to go completely up this mountain to get there. And we would always play horror games at his house at night. We'd completely rearrange the living room. So it sometimes, we had 15 people watching somebody play a game. And I distinctly remember Silent Hill 2 and just how great it was. And I think it took us about 2 weeks to beat it, because we were still kids and we were going off and on up there. But yeah, there's some definitely good memories with this game.
My first time playing this game was today, this morning, when I was living in Fairfax, Virginia. And I played it solo for some of the day. And by played it, I mean I watched a playthrough on YouTube. And then halfway through, Adam said, "Fuck this game. I don't want to play anymore." So I said, "How about you come in and watch this playthrough with me?" And then we took a nap, and then we watched the end of it.
Mike, you never told me that was an option.
Oh. Hey, that's why I played Soul Reaver 2. There's no nap involved, but
not by choice.
No.
I swear I played this on the original Xbox back in the day, but I have no memory other than that vague recollection of it.
Oh, we are the wrong people to be talking about this game, but here we are.
When I talk about it, I'm gonna talk about it like I was playing it 19 years ago. I think that's the way I'm gonna try to put my mindset into it.
I won't be. I did beat this years ago with my dad watching because he really liked this game, but that was so long ago I don't even really. I just remember I liked it, but that's it.
It's definitely one of those games you always hear about. That people just rave about it, like it's one of the best survival horror games of all time. So I was at least curious going back to it to see how I was going to feel, even though I've kind of moved on from the survival horror phase.
It's not a phase, Dad.
Well, this game, like one thing about Silent Hill that grabbed me when I played this game back then and still grabs me to this day is that you get a melee weapon early on. You don't have any item restriction. You can beat enemies down with a melee weapon. I don't have that tension of, having to fight them and be in a situation where I'm going to run out of ammo or my weapon's going to break and I might have to grab an IV stand and beat them with it instead. I didn't have that problem in this game.
And it's not like the knife in Resident Evil where you start out with the 2x4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you get it pretty quickly.
And it's got some serious range to it, so it doesn't feel like a handicap weapon like in most survival horror games.
That's one thing that makes this game so, it made me interested was the fact that I didn't feel weak and worthless and useless, and that's why I never got anywhere in 3 because you start out with a pocket knife and I turned off the game, and that was 20 years ago.
It should be noted that we played on stupid baby difficulty because, as we all know, stupid babies need the most attention.
I played on beginner.
I was playing on normal difficulty.
I was playing on the lowest difficulty.
I tried to start normal after I beat it, and I was like, no, that's okay. I made it to the apartment building and turned it off.
It gets, on beginner, I had no problem. When I played this back in the day, I didn't have the greatest hit version, so I didn't have beginner, I just had easy. But one thing, especially in difficulty I played, enemies go down super quick, which I'm not complaining. That was nice. You hit them once and it's over, and you just touch them with your foot and they die. But
yeah, that stomping mechanism was really something to behold.
That was
not even a stomp.
It's quite. I think it's just like a heel turn. Like he kind of grinds his heel into him, and that's supposed to be enough to kill him.
It works. It works.
Yeah, I beat him once. I would hit him with the bat and keep hitting them, and they wouldn't do the blood. And then he'd step on him and touch him with his heel, and they do the blood thing. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
Isaac does it better in Dead Space.
Yes,
that's a better game.
There's some oomph to it.
So this game also starts off very strange. You start off in a bathroom, a very, very dirty, messed up restroom.
Because it wouldn't be a survival horror game without a dirty bathroom.
Except I feel like I've seen restrooms like that but it's pretty bad.
Oh God,
it's really bad. And he starts out where he has a letter from his dead wife that has sent him a letter saying meet him in Silent Hill, and I didn't read the letter because it said it affected the ending, and I just didn't care. But it's just again, if you get a letter from somebody that's dead, especially when you know why they're dead, maybe you shouldn't go there and try to find them.
I mean,
so that good. There's a lot of head game messing with and storytelling and back and forth and which canon or which ending is actually canon. So before we get too far into it, did he know in the beginning?
Know what?
We should say spoilers. Spoilers for Silent Hill 2 if you don't know how to show it. Because I forgot this is probably a game I should have a spoiler tag in front of.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think he knew. I think he knew deep down.
I think he just completely forgot maybe trauma or some reason, and he didn't realize it until he found the video later on.
Your point probably makes more sense. I just don't. Now that I know, I don't like him at all. So I guess that's
yeah.
This game, when you know the ending and you know what happened, this game takes a whole different light when you're playing as James.
Fair.
I hate James. The whole game, I'm like, I hate you, James. You're an asshole. You're a terrible person because I know the ending. Where before, I'm like, oh, okay, he's trying to find his wife.
I do have to say, if Adam died and then wrote me a letter, I would totally go to search for you.
Even if there's a town called Silent Hill?
I would.
No, you wouldn't.
I sure would.
Actually, you're not that far from the real Silent Hill, aren't you?
Yeah, the real Silent Hill's in West Virginia.
Yeah.
West Virginia.
I think it's about a 2-hour drive from where we're at. Yeah.
Okay, so you see, it wouldn't be that hard for her to go there.
Yeah, plus Mothman lives there, so double bonus.
That is true.
This is a strange game. It gets really weird very quickly. You meet a random person in a cemetery, Angela, which I don't know why she's here.
Better question.
Well, she was looking for her missing mother.
Yeah. Why is she on the cover of the game? That is her, isn't it?
I'm gonna have to pull a picture of the.
It cover. Sure looks like it. It doesn't look like Mary or Maria.
I figured it was James. I don't know why. I guess I've never really paid too much attention.
I mean, it does look like Angela. I think it's hard to tell because, it's green.
It's a bad picture.
It's a bad picture, yeah. But I could see it being Mary or Angela because Mary has darker hair than Maria does.
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I have a picture of Angela pulled up and I'm looking at it, but it's so hard to tell what it is.
It really is. But yeah, so Angela shows up and she's looking for her mom, and she makes sense at the beginning of the game, but then when you run into her later on in Silent Hill, she stops making linear sense. Like her conversations, it seems like there's a bunch of different conversations happening with her, and she just kind of plugs and plays them at different times, and so it's difficult to understand what she's saying a lot of the time.
Nothing makes sense in this game.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you listen to a lot of the characters, they always go into a back and forth dialogue amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie does the same thing. Even Maria has tendencies to go back and forth on what she's saying.
Well, Maria's not real, right?
Is any of it real?
I think so. I just think Maria's not real.
I think she's like a manifestation of something.
My guess was that Maria was a way for James to try to move on and have new relationships, but his subconscious was not into that idea, which is why he fought so hard against her throughout the game.
It's weird. It's almost as if he felt guilty that his wife died. Might have been his fault or something.
A hot take, yes.
Oh, I got a lot of hot takes for this game. It just, one thing that made the game make a little more sense to me when I was watching the video is that, like in Silent Hill 1, the officer, I can't remember her name, she's seeing the same thing that Mason is seeing. But in this, and say they explain it where in this game, because that Alessa is gone now, there's no God controlling Silent Hill, that each person that comes in, it's feeding off of that person. That's why everyone's seeing different things. Like, I think there's a comment you make to Eddie where you say something and he's seeing something different than you are. But I don't know. I don't really completely remember.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the first times you meet Eddie. I'm trying to remember what he said now. Nope, lost it. I thought I was there.
He just says like, "Hi, I'm Eddie," and then
they threw him vomiting into a toilet because there's a dead body in a refrigerator.
And James just casually asked, "Eddie, who's the dead guy in the kitchen?"
James is absolutely casual with most of the things that happen.
Yeah, he takes it all pretty well until the end.
Yeah, his chill level is very high.
At least he doesn't say, "Have you seen a little girl? I'm looking for a little girl. Not my daughter, just a little girl." That still bothered me to this day. Maybe it wasn't as creepy when that game came out, but I don't know. When somebody's like, "I'm looking for a little girl," you get out of here right now, sir.
That just makes me think of Shenmue, where Ryo is always asking, "Do you know where sailors hang out?"
Down by the docks.
So, okay, I have a question, mate, because Mike had corrected me on this, and I can't remember. The first time you see Eddie, is it when he's puking or when he's eating the pizza?
He's puking.
Oh, okay.
You see him later in the bowling alley eating pizza with Laura.
I would not eat a pizza in this place.
Yeah, very unsanitary conditions, but like the pizza did look really nice. I think that was the most colorful part of the game, besides the dog ending.
I didn't see that. I saw it just now, but I was not playing this game twice.
Fair.
Once was enough. So, okay. And then, other thing that kind of confused me, like, why was Eddie there?
I think he was processing. So, my take is that all the people there are processing something that happened in their past. And it seemed to me that Eddie was processing being bullied. And then I kind of got the feeling that he might have been a school shooter.
Oh.
There's some conversation where he talks about hurting a dog and then some guy comes after him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much where he snaps. But yeah, he's talking about, they're calling me fat, they're calling me ugly. Well, everybody's the same when they're dead. Doesn't matter if you're fat, funny, skinny, pretty, or what. You're all the same dead. And then he talks about, yeah, I killed the dog. And then that's when they started chasing me.
Okay, and also, like, what Helena said I never thought about, but he is wearing an outfit that doesn't look right on this big man. And I was thinking, that makes a lot more sense. Like, he could have been a school shooter. He could have been a younger kid that took a gun to school. Huh.
Yeah, I interpreted him as being a teenager.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Thank you. That's what I'm here for.
No, I mean, it makes a lot, because I don't like Eddie. Like, when I played this game before and I played this game again, I'm like, Eddie does not belong in this game. Other than a stupid boss fight way late in the game, I'm like, why is he here? He's eating a pizza, he's puking, he says names, and I feel like some of the names were one of the doctors from the first game, but that could have just been me hallucinating or adding things. Anybody?
No. I know Lisa from the first game. That's about it.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the doctor in the first game, Adam?
I thought it was Lisa.
Not Lisa Garland was a nurse. The doctor
she's
was like
nurse.
Sutherland, I thought.
The
one that poisoned Alessa. Or something with Alessa.
James's last name is Sutherland, isn't it?
Yes. Okay, I'm putting things together.
Yeah, I cannot for the life of me remember.
I'm looking it up real fast, but my search is just not working. Because if Lisa Garland is the nurse.
Yeah. All the characters I know are from Shattered Memories.
Dr. Michael Kaufman.
Okay, maybe I feel like they mentioned that name, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
Yeah, actually they do. It's when you go into the Silent Hill Museum, historic museum, and there's a painting of the head doctor, and it's Dr. Michael Kaufman. It seems like the town was in love with this guy or something.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Man, it's been over a year since I played one, and yeah, I have no plan to ever go back. I'm not. Origins is my favorite so far out of these three. So.
Yeah, Origins. I can't say it. I can't say it.
It's okay. I know. Okay, that answered my question. The other thing, or kind of answered my question. The other thing one thing I kind of noticed that is interesting to me in this game is that it starts off, well, same as Silent Hill 1, it starts off like the open world where you're running around pretty quickly in the town, and I love that. Like I know when I was a kid and the first time I played this game, when I was playing it randomly at that night, I didn't know what to do and I just ran around the town. I would have never figured out to go.
Oh, sorry, go where?
Where you have to get a key in the beginning from the dead guy.
Mm-hmm.
To go to the apartment buildings.
Yeah, once again, this game, I don't know how I actually finished this game as a child. I have no idea. I am not a smart person, but I'm a lot smarter than I was when I was 15. And just the navigation and some of the puzzles, which I know we'll talk into, I'm like, how did I figure this stuff out?
They're not fun.
Yeah, I guess I had to have a strategy guide, but I can't remember. And we normally never played game with a strategy guide. So, but yeah, how many times I got lost and just like how was I supposed to know that?
Yeah, it is a lot of trial and error when you're just wandering around, but the game kind of helps you out by updating the map with road blockages and dead ends and whatnot. That's kind of a nice touch. Kind of helps you at least see where you've been.
That's something I've always praised Silent Hill games for, is their map system, where if you happen to go to a roadblock or you go into a room that has an item or the door is locked, it puts it on the map. Mm-hmm. And
which is nice. It helped because this game is very confusing. And I mean, the radio, like they bring the radio back from the first game, and I feel like that's probably in every game, but I still like that. I like how it makes the little hissing sound whenever you're near things. And also, one thing I do want to bring up is how every enemy has some kind of representation to James in this game, even though they go away from that later games and they don't follow that idea, like the sexy nurses and the straitjacket things you fight that scurry around underneath cars and terrified the hell out of me as a kid the first time I saw this game.
Yes. Actually, one got me. One made me jump. And it was right in the beginning, and that's what made me so happy. I was like, yes, this is the feeling. I love this game.
When you go to get that key, the guide said, oh, walk by the white car. And I'm like, I'll walk by the white car, okay. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, fucking God. And yeah, that was the only really jump scare. Like, it doesn't really happen again where you have things doing that to you.
There was one more for me, and that was when you get knocked off the roof by Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, where you have to.
Yeah, like I just turned around and got it. Just wasn't expecting it, and so that one wasn't scary, but it scared me.
And the guy had told me he was punching me, so I wasn't scared. But I never would have gotten through this game without a guide.
No, definitely not as quick as we did, anyway.
Yeah.
So speaking of Pyramid Head, what do y'all think about the first time you see him in the kitchen?
I have no words. He's doing something to a mannequin in one of the apartment rooms, and it's just, it's not a pretty sight. James is just hiding in a closet watching.
I feel like that's symbolism, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, Pyramid Heads have always been the darker, they've always symbolized like the darker side of the protagonist's character. It's something that you always see, and it is mentioned, throughout the game, certain stuff. And Pyramid Head, if you look at it or look back, you can see James in Pyramid Head.
I'm just so curious because Pyramid Head is supposed to be a representation of James's psyche. where is the psychosexual part coming from? Because I don't interpret him as being a hypersexual character, but I think there's 2 instances of Pyramid Head having sex with something. And so I'm really curious about where that comes from.
It just seems like it's a theme that they work into all the Silent Hill games. Like, seems like, because Shattered Memories has like an unseen slider that, what's his name, Harry? It's like if he looks at the pinup posters and stuff, it kind of, the rest of the game takes on a sexy tone or something. And then I think in 3, there's a lot of weird sexual stuff with Heather too.
We might never see that in this show anytime soon.
Hopefully not.
Oh, and I was wrong. Game Informer did not put Silent Hill 2 in their top 100.
Oh, thank God.
I apologize, Jeff Cork, if you ever listen to this episode. I apologize. Because he's the one that wrote the article. Okay, yeah. Okay. No, I mean, the way with Pyramid Head, I took it as... Because I know part of like the idea why they say he's like the sexual deprived is because his wife was dying, and that's why he's kind of like that. I think that's what the straitjacket thing they were saying is representing, because he felt trapped. I don't know if that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, one of the endings, he kind of alludes to that too, which I guess we'll get to when we talk about the endings.
Might be sooner than later. I don't know how else, I mean, and when you're talking about like the sexual thing with Maria, I mean, there's a couple of things with Pyramid Head. Like you see the thing where he's trying to do whatever he's trying to do to those mannequins. You have the way that he impales Maria twice in this game, which I felt like they were just, referencing sex.
Well, I think that because it's a representation of James's character, and now you know more about James, you might see the impalement of Maria a little different.
I did.
Yeah.
I saw it as straight up like anger sex.
I saw it as literally killing Maria.
Maybe okay. I'm gonna stop myself if I say things.
I did not take the impalement as literal like phallic murder, but I think that is a good point.
Okay.
So yeah.
No, I know that.
How a segue from phallic murder.
I know you felt murder, but I just that's how I took it. It felt like it was like a representation of like angry sex or angry like penetration or something. That's how I took it in my brain.
I wonder if that could play into that earlier thing we were talking about James feeling guilty about moving on and finding Maria attractive.
Could be. I mean, again, she looks just like his wife, I guess, even though I can't see it, even though I know it's the same model and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really see it either.
Apparently he did.
Multiple times.
You look like my wife. That's what you say to a woman when you first meet her. You look just like my wife I killed. Oh, wait.
Well, all right. Well, it's out. James Sunderland ends up killing his wife, you find out later in the game.
I only made it 25 minutes. Oh, well. It really changed the entire way I saw this game. It changed everything about the story, all the little clues they give you. It when you know what happened, everything is different. And I feel like I enjoyed the game less because I knew that.
I actually enjoyed it more because I knew that.
Okay.
I was wondering if that was going to be the truth of the game as I was playing. And that kind of made me interpret the game a little differently, because at first I was just taking it very literally, like this is all happening to him in Silent Hill and it's very weird. But now it's more of a psychological thriller to me, and so it's a little more accessible. And I say more with heavy quotation marks because it's not.
I still think I feel like it's happening to him. Like it's just that each of them, because each of the people are having little different events that are happening to them, but everything that happens is real to them. Mm-hmm. It's weird though. It's really hard. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like the places you go, and he keeps talking about he's going to go to their special place together. Like it just, I know part of it's just video gamey things, but
yeah,
like the apartments.
Yeah, you go to the park, you go to the apartments, you go to the hotel room, places where they spent their time and vacation. And I think that's why he goes back, is before you find out, that Mary's sick, you probably promised her, hey, that was a great vacation. We're going to go back to Silent Hill and we're going to enjoy it and do it all over again. And then once she's sick and she's dying and you never get to take her back to Silent Hill. And then the guilt of everything else that he's done, causes a nice little snap in his psyche. And so he sees Maria as, maybe what Mary could eventually become, or just a envisionment of like the perfect woman for him or something. But he still sees Mary in Maria, the way she's sick and the way she looks. And then, all the special places are just quick glimpses of where you went and you wanted just to do it one more time. But, you're a sinner. So everything went to hell, literally.
Okay, I have a question that's nitpicking. But when did he go to Silent Hill? Because Alessa would have died, let's say here, 10, 15 years before this, so he can't be that old. Maybe he's an early vacation. I'm nitpicking, I know, right now.
Yeah, I would assume, they...
20-year-olds?
Yeah, James and...
Mary,
they're probably 35. She died 3 years ago. They probably went there in their late 20s. There we go.
Because, again, there's no time frame. Like, it doesn't say when all this is happening. I just know that, like, when Alessa was killed, whenever Silent Hill Origin takes place, Tom gets cursed, so then he wouldn't be there. And you wouldn't be vacationing after that.
My wife kind of interpreted it as there's the real physical Silent Hill, and then there's this psychological embodiment of it that the characters kind of get trapped in.
The AU.
That's the way I've always kind of interpreted it, too. There is the real Silent Hill, where things have happened. It is a cursed town. But that's why you see so much, representation of their subconscious of the characters throughout Silent Hill.
I guess when you summon a demon, your town's not okay after that.
Yeah, it takes a while to rebuild. Yeah. A lot of PR.
Okay. I guess the apartment... the apartment's just a video game thing when you go to apartments, you think? Or do you think was there any kind of, like, story reference to those?
I don't think so. It kind of struck me as just somewhere to beef up your inventory.
Yes, you do a lot of that in this game. There's some weird-ass puzzles. The only one I can remember offhand, I know it's later in the game, but the one where you got to get the wax doll, the lighter, and the horseshoe, and then combine all 3 items in your inventory, and then use them at the same time without it giving you any hints that's what you're supposed to do.
If I didn't have a guide, I would have been there for hours trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
Same with the hair and the bent needle.
Oh, God.
Never would I thought to use a hair as a fishing hook to pick something up.
I feel like hair wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It would totally snap. Yeah, that's not strong enough.
It was in a specially preserved box, though. This piece.
All I think of serial killer when you say that.
Yeah, and I still want to know why that hair was in the box.
Serial killer?
Serial killer. All right.
Oh, I got. Well, I was just watching Southland before this, so that's on my brain right now.
And then the fruit juice and the garbage chute was pretty stupid too.
Oh yeah, I think actually that was the most stupidest one because you pick up a case. All right, so early in the game, you go into the apartments, you go to a trash chute, and he says, "Oh, there's something blocking the path," or Then you go and you probably play a good 45 minutes before this comes up again. You're outside, you just find a random can of cranberry juice or something. And now all of a sudden you have to know to put that cranberry juice down the chute to knock something loose. Because a brick that's laying outside wouldn't work.
Or the stick that you've been carrying around.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. There's the part before that where he's trying to reach for a key on the other side of a gate. And I actually shouted out, "You have a stick in your hand." And he's just trying to stretch between the bars. Again, nitpicking, but it bothered me.
It's a game.
Yeah, video games have come a long way in 20 years, is what I think we're trying to say.
They're puzzles and they're video game puzzles, but they didn't do it for me at all. Again, I didn't guess any on my own, so.
So since y'all said y'all were reading walkthroughs, did y'all look at any of the solutions for an expert puzzle?
Oh man, shit.
I did not.
Do yourself a favor and look at one of the solutions for like the first safe puzzle. There's like algebra involved and.
Yeah. It was the one with the coins where you have 2 or 3 coins and you have to put them in the 5 slots. Oh. And my wife was rating it, and I'm just like, I tuned out halfway through. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It always makes me think of the Shakespeare 1 and 3, where I tried to put the riddles on hard, and I had no idea what to do. You have to have prior knowledge of the actual Shakespeare stories to be able to solve it.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah.
I do know what you're talking about. And so, once again, I was 15 when this game came out. No idea how I beat this.
Yeah, I'm wondering, too. Except that's not the first time it's happened on the show. We had a guest on who beat Parasite Eve 2 in Japanese and could not read Japanese. So
What?
That's impressive.
it was impressive. I don't know how he did it. He didn't know either. But he did it. So again, we were younger. We had more time. We didn't have jobs. We didn't have kids. We didn't have girlfriends, most likely, or boyfriends. So.
Yeah, those days.
Well, all of a sudden, I'm starting to miss them.
Oh, and then what do you guys think of the first Pyramid Head fight where he just runs around you in a room and then leaves?
It was real fun on baby difficulty because I ran to the other side of the room. He came to me, started to swing, stopped, and then just left. I don't know if it timed out or what. He just gave up real quick.
I remember this fight being absolutely terrifying. Once again, I'm pretending like I have never played this game, except for 15 years ago.
I'm sorry.
I remember it being absolutely terrifying. I remember going through all my ammo, just bullet sponging, only to find out it didn't matter how much you shot him. It was just a timed event.
Supposedly, shooting him makes him leave sooner.
Supposedly, this used to be a great game.
Well, a lot of people are going to disagree with us when they hear this episode.
I will already just say I was excited and ready to play this. And if you feel the same way and you're mad at us, just go play it one more time. Without a walkthrough, just do it.
I wasn't a fan of it. Actually, I got the Pyramid Head fight. He was walking around. I was waiting for him to come back, and I'm hiding in the corner. I'm like, where'd he go? And all of a sudden, I notice he's walking down the stairs, completely gone. I was like, oh, okay. That's how this goes.
Okay.
Putting your arm back in the socket, reloading. I wasn't done with you, you son of a bitch.
Oh, I didn't shoot a single... This is a horror game. I don't shoot a single bullet I don't have to.
He kind of had the same attitude I did, where he just didn't want to be there.
I can't wait to hear how much ammo and stuff that y'all had in y'all's inventory.
I only fired shotgun shots when I had to. I did not shoot anybody other than the couple doorman and the bosses.
So hundreds.
Yeah, my wife was reading the walkthrough to me, and we got to the hotel. She's like, do you want to go get shotgun ammo? I pull up my inventory. I had 122 shotgun rounds. I was like, nah, I'm good.
And then when you go to this, because I know the next place you go to, the bowling alley, which if I remember correctly, it's very short, and that's when you see a fat guy eating a pizza.
His name is Eddie.
Well, when you murder people and murder a dog, you lost all.
He has no name. You lose your name.
And I'm not one to...
This is also where, I guess we should mention where you have ran into a little girl before named Laura. And this is the first time that you're introduced to her name. And she was talking to Eddie and then takes running off.
Wouldn't she be terrified of a place like this? 8-year-old me would be terrified of a place like that.
I thought she addressed it at some point.
32-year-old me be terrified of a place like that.
Oh, she's been there for a long time already. I'm not sure if it's really registering that it's scary. She seems pretty casual when she's going through it. But we also know from Angela later in the game that she always sees fire, and James only saw it the one time with her. So it's possible that all of the characters are experiencing it differently. So she might not be experiencing it as a dangerous or scary place.
Okay, that makes sense. And as a child, sometimes it's easier to cope with trauma depending on how you grew up with it versus someone older, I think. Isn't that a true thing that I'm saying? I think I might have said it wrong.
I'm not
in a certain way. I feel like I've heard that before.
You probably don't understand your trauma a whole lot until you're older.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. It didn't come out right.
Of BioShock 2 when you play as the little sister in the one part and see the world through their eyes and everything looks like a party.
Yeah, everything's marble covered. Everybody's in tuxedos and there's just velvet everywhere and they have wings. And I'm going to stop there because I love that part of the game. And that's not what we're talking about.
Okay, Laura just seemed odd to me, like she didn't belong here. None of the people belong here, in my opinion. I mean, if you take out Eddie, take out Laura, take out Angela, just let James wander, I would have been fine with that.
She has her place. There's a note from, Mary that goes into detail why Laura's there. So, essentially, Laura was going to be adopted by Mary and James. And in that note, Mary's writing to Laura and essentially says, yeah, I know James, when he's surly, can be a little bit, rough, but he'll come around to you and you'll enjoy him. And we're looking forward to adopting you next week or something.
Oh, okay, it makes more sense. Thank you. You queued up a part of the game. I guess I should read notes in horror games. Huh?
Yeah. So that's why Laura's definitely hanging around because it was going to be his adopted daughter.
So maybe Laura's not real then.
Yeah, Eddie interacts with her. I guess you don't actually see it though.
He's talking to her, but that's all you see.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's always been one of the greatest talking points about a Silent Hill. What's real, what's not, what's in the psyche, and what are people experiencing? It's always, if you think about any Silent Hill, this conversation will always come up. So, I don't know. Okay. Imagination. Whatever makes the game feel a little bit better for you.
You brought an interesting part because I did not catch that was the girl that they were supposed to adopt or something. That makes so much more sense now to why she has all the weird things she says and how she knew Laura. Like, how'd you know Laura or Mary? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You made the game move up a little bit. Not much.
I'm actually getting hyped talking about it a little bit more. I'm like, man, the story actually is thoughtful.
Story's fine. Story's fine. Yeah. Just the gameplay is kind of like, especially when you play on baby difficulty where enemies are just there and you just run past them and you don't have to hit anything. You don't have to do anything. I mean, that's not the game's fault. That's my fault. But I'm okay with that. Yeah. I don't like horror games.
This seems like a good time to mention that the camera is absolutely nauseating.
Oh, God. Worthless.
It's bad.
Like when you're out running around the town, it's just swinging all over the place. You get too close to a wall, it like pans over so you can see that wall. But then you can't see what's in front of you.
It's bad.
And when you try to use the lock-on thing, it just takes on a mind of its own. It's flying every which way.
Yeah, that auto recenter button is just phenomenal.
There's a button?
Yeah, the left L2. Oh. What it's supposed to do is, zoom the camera around so you're behind James. Maybe 1 in 10 shot that it'll actually make it behind James. And if it does make it behind James, you won't get vertigo or motion sickness by the time it gets there.
Very early on, I was really questioning whether I was going to be able to finish this game or not. And eventually, I just quit messing with the camera.
I didn't know you could do that. That would have made... Because it was really annoying running down a hallway with the camera in the wrong spot, just letting me run towards it. I'm just like, if I wasn't playing this on baby difficulty and an enemy walked by, I'm going to be in trouble. But I'm like, I don't care. I got save states.
So who played with tank controls?
All right, wait. You can change the controls?
Yeah, it's 2D and 3D, it says. 2D, I think, is the tank controls, where up makes you go forward whichever direction you're facing. And then...
I didn't know you could change it.
I didn't know you could change it.
You're better off, because I played on the 3D one, and if you are holding the stick and you pan into a different camera view, if you move that stick in the slightest bit, James wigs out and moves to match the new facing of the camera. So if you're holding left and the camera pans to face James and you move the stick at all, then he starts going left into a wall.
So literally in the beginning of the game, while you're in the bathroom, the first words out of my mouth when I started this was fucking tank controls.
I had that feeling trying to replay Parasite Eve 2.
But you know what? Hey, at least in this game, the enemies aren't like as maneuverable as they are in Parasite Eve 2, so it's okay.
And the areas are very wide open, so
unlike Parasite Eve 2.
Yeah, you got moved to juke them out, which
Not
you don't.
Parasite Eve 2.
And
I have.
You don't even have to juke them out in this game. You can just run them.
They're pretty stupid.
Today I learned what tank controls are. So, hooray!
They're usually not good. Good at all. They would work in some games. They do not work in an action RPG named Parasite Eve 2. Not at all.
Especially when the previous game didn't have them.
It's okay. So I found another list and it has it at number 97 as top 100. Does not belong there. Okay, and then
what list though?
Popular mechanics.
No one even reads Popular Mechanics.
The League of Authority on video games.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know Popular Mechanics had a top 100 video game list.
I didn't either. Google did.
Well, there's about 28 broken down cars in this game, and one somewhat functional one, so we're going to put it at 97. Notice that none of the cars drive, but you do get to hear them run.
There's one with the lead pipe sticking in it that's running.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Brookhaven Hospital. And the hospital, I kind of like because it felt like I was playing Silent Hill 1 again, and I was okay with that feeling, and Silent Hill Origins. I mean, it didn't feel like it really fit the story because she wasn't at this hospital. But I guess since she did die, wasn't a hospital, that's why he's kind of there, I guess. And you have to have the sexy nurses that never left the series.
Good for them.
Yeah. They unionized.
Yeah.
They make sense in this game. They don't make sense anywhere else. And they're supposed to be a representation of him or something. Or not of him exactly, but because of he's sex deprived, I think is what people say.
Fun fact of the day. The German word for nurse is Krankenschwester, which means sick sister.
Mm.
You're welcome.
We do have German listeners on this show. So.
Please don't correct my pronunciation.
I refer to hell.
Okay, I don't agree with his pop mechanics list. Chrono Trigger's number 28. Bad list.
What's number
That's
one?
not number one. There's something wrong. Okay. The hospital was okay. I think the hospital is when things start going a little crazy. Like, that's when you first get into the nightmare world.
Yeah, you don't spend a whole lot of time in the nightmare versions of places like I feel you do in the other games.
Yeah, with that.
Twice in this one?
Yeah, it's not much. Yeah. It's not like Origins or Silent Hill 1.
And there's something also, it's not as prominent when you enter it. You know, you're and all the other ones you walk through a mirror or a siren goes off, or, you know, there's definitely a twist. You know, the walls are more all ironwork and stuff like that. There was times I was just like walking around like, oh yeah, I guess I am in, you know, the other world right now.
It's not obvious in this game like in the other games.
Everything just looks kind of extra dirty.
Yeah. I remember freaking me out when I was younger when I first played this, and now I'm just like, it's okay. It's not like how the first game did it or how Origin did it.
We're desensitized because we've seen shit like Labyrinth now.
That movie is so much darker than you know. Go check out that episode with Helena on it. And so the Hangers boss, like, I didn't understand the point of them that you fight the three of them. I don't know if they serve like a symbolism or anything. Or is it just a boss? Because we have to give you a boss.
Well, they were in hospital beds, it looked like.
Oh, yeah. I guess it represents his wife.
Yeah, and so I think that's Laura's way of trying to jolt your memory, maybe, of what happened.
Oh, yeah, because she sets you up.
Yeah, she like is like, it's the letter from Mary is in the back a little bit further, and then locks the door, calls you fart face, and and makes you, I guess, literally confront some of your demons.
Okay, that's a good way to put it. Now that makes a little more sense. Where before I had no opinion of it.
Yeah.
I did notice that they used their feet to strangle you, which I thought was really interesting, and I wonder why it was the feet.
Because they're hanging on with their hands.
Yeah, but why the feet for strangling?
Because if you're holding onto the ceiling with your hands, what else are you going to use?
No, there has to be some kind of symbolism. He has a foot fetish.
Okay, well, and now we're just, it took a turn.
Maybe. Well, hey, Xenia in GoldenEye kills people with her thighs. Does that count?
That's how I want to go out, so.
I love that actress, Sam Jensen. She is beautiful.
Jean Grey.
She's also in an episode of Star Trek Next Generation. And then you go to the Nightmare. Okay, the Nightmare Hospital is where you lose Maria, because you have her for that little bit, and after she's running down the hallway that I didn't even realize like a boss fight where you're supposed to stop and shoot Pyramid Head. I heard him hit her, and I was like, who cares? And I just kept running.
Yeah, because the guide that we both used is like, you need to stop and shoot him, make sure he doesn't get near Maria. And like, I stopped multiple times, just like, where is everyone? Where is she? Where is he? He never got anywhere near her, so maybe it's just baby difficulty. But
I had to.
And I just didn't care.
Yeah, I had to peg him a few times just to slow him down, because man, he was navigating those corners good.
Yeah, must just be a difficulty thing then.
Yeah, because he wasn't a beginner.
Oh yeah. He was at her at all times, so I'd have to run, turn around, like shoot 2-3 times, and then keep running.
Which is all for naught, because he ends up stabbing her anyway, like we mentioned earlier.
He's gruesome too. Like, she gets to the elevator, he gets in, and she can't make it, and he just stabs her. He just stabs her
for the first time.
Yeah. Why it came in my head was for the first time today, and I can't think of what that's from. But that's what popped in my head just now. I know it's from a song. I don't know what. I just put in my notes, "Oh no, Maria." That's all I thought. I didn't care. I didn't care about anything in this game. I just wanted the game to be done. So, that's a good sign.
I honestly think it was around this point that I wanted it to be done as well.
I got out of the apartments and I said to my wife, who was reading the guide, I'm like, is there much left? It's like the first area of the game.
And then you have the stupid part where you have to find a wrench and a key and then dig up the frick. Yeah, I didn't like that puzzle.
This is where I started really losing interest, because I could not find the damn statue.
I couldn't either.
That park looked just identical at every angle. and you're like, wait, did I go up these stairs? All right. Now I gotta go back. All right, now how am I at a garage? Yeah, and once that I felt a little bit better because that's kind of the last time in the game where you're out in the city, and the city is just so huge.
Yeah, the city is huge. It's annoyingly big too.
And it doesn't help that there's fog, so you can only see 5 feet in front of you. Which some people love that aspect. They love the fog.
I feel like it was only there to like make the game run better.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was definitely a system limitation for the first game.
I didn't like it. And then that's when you go to the Historical Society, which the only thing I can remember about this that's in my notes is long stairwell.
Oh, I've got something. When you go into the padded cell and your flashlight goes out, so you gotta change it with the dry cell, and you're surrounded by nasty bugs everywhere.
That was a fucking nightmare room.
Oh yes.
You don't like bugs, huh?
No, not at all.
I hate bugs. Adam can tell you how much cockroaches freak me the fuck out.
I hated that room for another reason, and it's because every time I tried to hit the pin pad, a roach hit me or something, and I couldn't lock on.
They can bite you?
They don't. I don't really think they hurt you, but they were like they were hitting me. And so like every time I went for the pin pad, like one would hit me and my character would flinch a little bit, and I have to try to aim up to the pin pad again. And then like I'd go to do it and it hit me again, and I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch. Okay, now I have to guess a series of numbers because that's the only way out of that puzzle. There is no note for that puzzle. You literally have to keep pushing in digits until you get it right. Which is I was gonna say, which something the thing I do like about some of the puzzles in this game were that a bunch of them with numbers were all randomly generated numbers. So the same puzzle for me is not the same puzzle for you. So looking it up on the internet, it's like, nope. Now, if you got to think just a little bit on your own this time. Which, if I ever made a video game, all my puzzles would be randomly generated now, just to mess with everybody.
Where was the puzzle? There's a random puzzle that you have to look at blood letters on something, or blood numbers, and the numbers are really hard to read. And I had to ask in a Silent Hill group to figure out what it was, and I could not figure it out.
I think that was in the Twisted Hospital.
I was mad.
Because there's those numbers, there's a number I think it's the box with the hair in it, isn't it? It's got like three different locks on it. Yeah.
Yep, and that's the one for the spinny lock.
You need to upload that screenshot, Mike, to the Facebook page so people can see. What was the first number? A 5?
I don't have the picture anymore. But...
I might. And it just looks like a lightning bolt.
Yeah, no, there was like 9335, I think was that one. Not for you guys. Well, yeah. Well, for my person who was doing the playthrough, it was 9335, and I couldn't read shit. And
I even found a video where the guy broke down what each number looks like and went through it because he hacked the game, and I still couldn't figure out what my numbers were. And I was sitting there looking at it, trying to compare it. I'm like, this makes no sense.
Yeah, it's not intuitive.
It's really not.
But once again, I love it.
It just... I mean, random puzzles are fine. Like, I respect that. I understand that, and especially in a horror game. But I don't like it personally because then I can't just use a guide and have it tell me what to do. So I get upset. But that wasn't an issue. But this is also part of the game where you just keep going lower and lower and lower into... Because you go down the stairwell, you go down a ladder, you jump down holes. Oh, again, if you jump down a hole, I mean, these must not have been very big holes because he wasn't hurt. And if I jumped 10 feet, I'm going to be in pain.
They were a lot deep holes.
10 feet.
Because this is blackness.
I feel like 10 feet would hurt if I jumped 10 feet.
James's character is more gutsy than we give him credit for, because not only is he jumping down dark holes that he can't see, but he also picked a wallet out of a toilet just completely full.
That toilet was disgusting.
Yeah, and he doesn't say there's a wallet. He goes, "There's something floating in this toilet. Should I pick it up?"
Shit.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, dude, don't.
I wouldn't do it.
That was one of my notes. It's just the grossest toilet in video games.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It's an optional puzzle too for ammo because you need a lot of ammo on beginner difficulty. And this is when you get into the labyrinth. The labyrinth irritated me because this is where you don't have you normally throughout this game you always get a map of every place you're at, but when you're down in the labyrinth and you don't get a map. Like you have to. He's drawing, and his drawing is not very good because he wouldn't even draw everywhere. And it's just I didn't like that part at all.
It reminded me of Etrian Odyssey, those games where you draw your own map as you get through the dungeons.
But they give this little map creation tool, don't they?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this didn't give you a map creation tool. I mean, he's drawing, like, I did like that, like the idea of the map, that he has a sheet of paper and he's doing things as you're playing through the game. I don't know. Labyrinth just bothered me. This is also when you fight the first doorman, or the first doorman boss, which is a really fucked up. You find Angela. This is your third time seeing her. We skipped the part where you find her where she's holding a knife at one point, thinking about committing suicide or something.
Yeah. So it's pretty much very, very early in the beginning of the game. You find Angela. She's laying down in front of the mirror, and it's saying suicide, everything like that. James talks her out of it, and then she gives you the knife to hold on to for her, which only affects the ending of the game.
If you look at it, I heard.
Yeah, and you have to look at it like a few times to get that ending. And it's essentially after you read about Angela's father's death, and then like you look at it after that, and then I think there's another note from Angela you get early on in the game, and if you examine it, then that kind of affects the ending of the game too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I know that you can keep that you get it doesn't do anything, but I didn't look at it because the guide said don't look at it or it affects your ending. Do what you want. So I'm like, oh, I don't care. I just kept going. But okay. This game just was not. I was the wrong person to be talking about this game.
I wish I never played it again. I cannot stress, like,
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. I just feel like there's a weird Mandela effect thing going on, because I remember this game being so great. And
it's like Operation Raccoon City.
Yeah, and I'm like about 5 hours into it, and I go to Helena, and I'm like, I wish I'd never played this game. This game, it's ruined so much for me right now.
I mean, normally, I had the opposite effect with one of the games that's been on the show when I played Majora's Mask, because before I played it, I thought it was a bullshit Zelda game, and now I really like it and recommend it to people.
God damn you. How dare.
I was changed. I saw the light. I saw the moon.
Man, you know I will fight you over that.
I know, that's why I brought that comment back up.
I remember that episode.
And she called me a bullshit Zelda game. That was her insult to me. So, it's just like, and then when you, like I was talking about, when you see Angela the third time and you go into that room, and trigger warning, we're going to talk about rape and stuff all of a sudden, because that's what the game's trying to tell you. So just before we get into it again, you get into this room and you see Angela on the ground, and there's like this, I think the boss is already in the room, and she's saying like, don't let him hurt me or something. And the room is covered in flesh that has holes with cylinder things pulsating all the time. It's just, and I know 15-year-old me did not understand anything that was going on. I'm like, okay, a boss fight. 32-year-old me was like, wait a second, come on now, game. And it hit me what happened to her, and I was just like,
she's calling it dad, isn't she?
She's calling it daddy.
Yeah.
And she's like, daddy, don't hurt me anymore.
It bothered me. I didn't. I mean, it creeps you out, but it's like, I don't know. I didn't like it in this game at all.
Yeah. That was one of the biggest, like, oh shit moments playing this game as an adult, because you don't, as a kid, get that reference or some of the darker subtleties of this game. Oh, scary monsters. Oh, this lady's crazy. There's fire. Oh, something bad.
Crazy.
But now when you're watching this as an adult, you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then after you kill him, she starts just kicking him.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense. I'm like, okay. And it's just like, because I had no recollection of there being that part in this game at all. And just kind of, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And an article I read, and out of every article, to try to get a better understanding of what happened in this game, I think Angela's story is the most coherent. It's like, you understand Angela's story better than anything else.
Yeah.
And so when she's walking up the staircase and James goes, man, it's hot as hell. She goes, yeah, for me, it's always like this. And that's kind of her saying, yeah, my life's a living hell. Like, welcome to it. This is what it's been. And then she fades away up into the stairs. Probably not a good outcome.
Angela deserved better. 2020.
it just hit me, and it was just one of those things where I had no memory of, and it's one of the darkest moments of this game by far now for me.
Oh, easily.
And it just like it also helped make sense of why she's here, because she was traumatized and what happened to her, and she ends up in this terrible place.
Well, one of the articles that you can find on the ground in the game actually alludes to her killing her dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
Oh, yeah.
He had it coming.
Yeah, it's something. You read the note, and it was like, yeah, this gentleman was clearly stabbed by a large knife. It doesn't look like it was theft or like, I can't remember the terms they used, but like, his wallet with all of his money was still in there.
Yeah. I remember reading that one.
And that note was, and there was a bunch of stuff that was taken away from the note, or I can't remember the word, but where it's marked through and you can't read it, with victims' names.
Oh, omitted.
Yeah, omitted. But it's definitely her father.
Yeah.
I want to say, when you first see her, that room with the knife, it's like already got some kind of blood on the tip of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's laying down, looking in the mirror at herself, and already not making sense.
Yeah, it was. I mean, everything with Angela is just so. It's such a. Now that I look at it differently, it's such a sad story. Like the last time you see her too is really sad.
Yeah.
But also, like in the bottom of this labyrinth, is when you find Maria. I put in my notes, Maria dead again, but I can't remember what happened to her.
Yeah, you definitely run into her in the labyrinth. It's
Is that when she cut herself?
No, it's when she's on the other side of the jail cell. You go down that long staircase you're talking about, and you're on the opposite side that she is. So you have to go all the way around, and by the time you get there, she's dead.
Okay. That was also weird to me, because she's behind the bars, and like my memory, remember her making sexual innuendos.
Yeah, that's where she goes full bar on that. She's like, I can't do much behind these bars. You need to get over on this side.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm coming. Instantly goes to find her.
Yeah. Instead of going out the door and into another door, let me go out this door, down a sewer, down a hole, through this city, up. All right, now I'm in here. Oh, you're dead.
We're not having sex. Excuse me.
You get the great knife somewhere in the labyrinth, though. That thing's
useless.
Interesting. Yeah, it's useless.
It's slow. I equipped it.
So
I got all
slow.
excited, and he started moving all slow. And I'm like, fuck this shit, and put the pipe right back on. And never went back.
Yep.
So I think finding the great knife is, because it's so late in the story, and you're starting to put together more of James's story. That's him slowly becoming Pyramid Head.
Oh, because the idea that he's Pyramid Head, right?
Yes, like his subconscious is Pyramid Head, essentially. And now that we have discussed, we kind of spoiled it, that James ends up killing his wife. So all of his sexual desires is why Pyramid Head is doing those ridiculous things with mannequins, and he kills Maria. So he kills Maria not once, but he kills Maria twice, and that's him being punished. Constantly reminded that he killed Mary.
Okay.
And that's what I was trying to get at earlier without spoiling anything. But,
I mean,
whatever.
This game came out in 2001. I don't feel bad.
He even says later on that he needed someone to punish him for his sins. So he essentially created Pyramid Head himself. And a lot of the corpses you find laying around in the town all have similar looking clothes to what James is wearing. So it's like he's killed himself over and over again.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I never paid attention to that. Yeah.
Did anyone pay attention to the way that the nurses die? They die spread eagle with their legs splayed.
Oh,
very much like if you were a true crime buff, the way the Black Dahlia's body was posed. And then they like piss blood.
Okay. I did not notice that. I didn't kill any nurses in this game because maybe I killed a couple, but I was running all the time.
Yeah. You really only have to kill enemies in this game if, one, they're annoying you, or two, you're locked in a room with them.
Or you just want to hit something with a lead pipe.
Yeah, usually it was annoyance. And then back when you're in that bottom of the labyrinth, this is when you finally see Eddie again. And you have to fight Eddie, and I don't care for this boss fight. This is when Eddie goes all crazy and talks about, like we talked about earlier. We talked about killing the dog and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he said Kaufman, but maybe I'm putting in my own words.
So, looking back at this fight and how I said, he was saying that it doesn't matter what you look like when you're pretty. in that he killed the dog. He actually kills the football player's dog and then shoots the football player in the knee. And he references that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, let's watch him play football with a shattered knee now."
Oh, okay.
So definitely, probably school shooter.
Okay, and it says he's 23 at this time, but in part-time gas station employee, it says in the wiki.
So maybe college.
That's interesting, though. Okay, and I guess it says Eddie may have also developed an excessive eating disorder to cope with his troubles, as evidenced by his desire to stay in shelter and eat pizza after being insulted by Laura.
I didn't interpret him as having a binge eating disorder, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's something that he probably could develop because Laura does make fun of him, and I think that's what Mike was trying to get at. That he's like, oh, if I'm fat, I'm just going to be fat, type thing.
Yeah, I don't like Eddie at all. He bothered me back then. He bothers me. I don't like him as a character in this game. I would have rather had it just been a random monster that you run into instead of a human that is a monster.
Yeah, I don't think they really did his story justice. I mean, if they were going to go for the angle that he was a bullied, troubled teen, then I don't know. They could have given more than what they did.
Oh, and here's the last line. Don't get all holy on me, James. This town called you too. You and me are the same. We're not like other people. Don't you know that?
Yeah. They also made him too cartoony. He was...
Yeah.
I don't know.
He was like he didn't, I think why it annoyed me too much is he was, like Helena said, cartoony, where he brightly colored your typical khakis and striped shirt. Like it didn't fit. I think if they made him toned down in color, he probably would have felt more darker than, well, the only thing missing from his character was like one of those little speedy propeller beanies.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't he have plumber crack at one point? Like,
yes.
I don't know. It just seemed like they kind of made him a joke.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like him in this.
He had a dark storyline, so it's really too bad that they didn't let him fully be dark.
Yeah.
It's always bothered me to him in this game. Back then it bothered me, it still bothers me.
And I guess we haven't touched on it. It's a quick touch up on that we can get on. The voice acting's probably not.
Yeah.
If you have a cartoony character with a comical voice and a dark backstory, the two weigh out the one, and it makes it just annoying.
Yeah. I have it in my notes. It's the voice acting's about 2 levels above House of the Dead.
I think the voice acting is good for most of the characters, but I didn't like it for him.
Yeah.
It's certain ones, like Laura and Maria seem fine, but everyone else just seems off.
James
best, I think.
Yeah. Mary's little monologue at the end, I think it is where like the voice acting actually finally shows through. James is a little annoying. Angela wasn't bad.
I didn't mind Angela either. I skipped Mary's by accident. I meant to pause the game to get up and do something, and I skipped the cutscene.
Yeah, do you...
Boy.
God.
What?
Once we get to the ending, we'll talk about that. That was...
Yeah, well... So I saw Mary, then I saw a boss fight. That was how it went for me. We're almost there. And after you kill Eddie, and then all of a sudden now you're above ground. Like I thought that was interesting too. How you go down, and all of a sudden here he is upstairs. Yeah. And that's when you're at the lake.
I didn't pay attention to that.
Because it's in Silent Hill 1 too, where you keep going down, but then you stay down. You don't come back up. Yeah. It's near the end of the game. You go really deep before you fight the demon thing.
Yeah.
In this game, you keep going down, jump all those holes, down those stairwells, everything, and then all of a sudden, after you beat Eddie, you go outside and you're at that on where the dock is and the boat is.
Huh. Oh yeah, you do.
That's when you have that stupid row your boat scene that I was like, I have no recollection of this.
Yeah, another scene that lasted way too long for no reason.
It didn't belong in the game. It was just like you row a boat and it's supposed to be, I guess if you're playing on harder difficulties, you have to use both joysticks to keep the boat going or something. I'm like, there's no point to this.
Yeah. But there's no enemies, there's no jump scares. Like you find a light and you row to it.
Yeah.
But depending on how fast you get through that determines your rating at the end. Like to unlock the best stuff, you have to do it in less than like a minute or something.
Really?
Like why would you put a stipulation on that? It feels so random.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Silent Hill does it is known for having some unlockables and different endings, and in trying to make you play it again for the new stuff. So I guess I kind of get that.
Yeah, I guess the Metal Gear Solid series did similar things.
Yeah, but it's Metal Gear Solid.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, both made by Konami.
I love Metal Gear though. Great series. Okay, and this is when you get to the hotel finally, and the hotel was all right for me. I didn't like it that I had to fight Doorman because I don't like when any game. I mean, it's a video game thing where you have an enemy who was a boss and now is a regular enemy. I don't like that. It just bugs me.
It kind of takes away from
especially in this game where the Doorman was this rapist killer, her father, and now it's just random enemies you fight a couple times.
Yeah.
And I think it's meant to kind of give you like a little oh shit moment. Because you did take down this boss, and now you walk outside, and you're like, oh, okay, there's more of them. But then it once you can run past them now, and you're not forced to fight them, it now takes away drastically.
I wonder if if these doormen are supposed to represent rapists, I wonder what that means, because we also have the psychosexual pyramid head going around. And I wonder if maybe it's just like a show of, this is what James is experiencing, and now it's top of mind for him, so he's seeing reminders of it everywhere, and he's feeling guilty that he couldn't help Angela more.
That's a good way to put it. I mean, for me, they didn't bother me because I took one shotgun blast, but they just annoyed me that they were there.
I wonder if it's just a limitation of the game, of the system, because there's not a huge variety of enemies to begin with. It's like the straitjacket guys and the weird mannequins that we haven't really talked about. They're just two sets of legs glued on top of each other.
Yeah, pair of legs.
And they attack you with their legs.
It's Helena's foot fetish.
Maybe she's right.
Yep. I absolutely am. The end.
I don't know. I mean, I actually think you could. There's nothing to go along with that, but other than that, but it could. Feet can be a sexual thing if you have a foot fetish.
Yeah. It's closely associated with being a Pisces. I wonder what James' sign is. Does Google know? I'm going to find out.
I'm a Pisces. I do not have a foot fetish.
Age 29. Oh, God. This is also when this is in the hotels when you finally find the video and you find out this entire time that he killed Mary.
Yeah.
That he suffocated her with a pillow, I think? Or that my brain just making up things?
No, you're right.
Okay. I wasn't completely paying attention.
I don't remember the pillow, but I remember them like seeing him standing over her and then him jerking in a way that looked violent.
Yeah, it's like in between the fuzz of the videotape, you can make out that he's got the pillow over her face.
I was at this point in the game. I finished this all in like one night where I just wanted the game to be over with. So my memory's a little hazy because the game was breaking me down.
It did a good job of that.
Okay, and that's when after you find out that he killed her, Laura shows up, and you go into the Nightmare Hotel, which I enjoyed the Nightmare Hotel. Like I was like, it was kind of fun where the thing is kind of flooded, and I don't know, I enjoyed it a lot for some reason.
Do you want to back up? When Laura comes in, he's just like, I killed her, says to her, James is terrible with children.
He would not have made a good father.
No.
And he like called her a brat earlier too. Like he did not have the patience.
She kicked the key.
I was going to say, well, to be fair, she kicked the chi, stomped his hand, and locked him in a room with 3 monsters.
Yeah.
You get to get called a brat at that point.
When I was watching and she kicked the key, I literally said to my TV, "Oh my God, you cunt!"
You see, you can use that phrase. I will never use that word. But.
Thank you. Yeah, I earned it. But yeah,
well, any woman can use the word. In my opinion, I just will not ever say the word.
I clearly was not made for fatherhood either. So just put that out there.
Oh, that's funny. That is really funny, though. I didn't think that. I don't know what I didn't even care. I guess I didn't even care.
She does have a bad attitude towards James, but I guess it's kind of justified because she loves Mary and he was kind of a dick to her, so she takes it out on him.
So they kind of explain why he was a jerk to her. Then one of the earlier, well, not early, about midway through the game, you can go into a bar. While you're in the bar, there's a case of alcohol. And if you look at it, he mentions now's not a good time to drink, and then kind of references his problems with drinking. Once you read the note from Mary to Laura, Mary mentions his drinking. Yeah, he can get surly at times, but he'll come around. So I think that's why Laura might be a little hesitant to James, because James has never really given her the time, except for now, which he has really no recollection of his past, I guess, as he's putting everything together.
Plus, I still completely believe that she's not real. That she's not actually here. She's just a figment of his imagination. I could be wrong. It's just that's how now that we've been talking, that's how I take it.
Yeah, it's
like a future he could have had.
I've always, like I said, I've recognized Silent Hills as just someone's personal hell or hell, and there just happens to be other characters that you get to interact with that are also living in hell.
This is from the wiki. She is the only innocent human character in the town who does not hold any darkness in her heart, in contrast to James, Angela, and Eddie. Because of her innocent purity, she does not see any monsters or serious abnormalities in the town, including Maria.
There you go. I think that solidifies my theory earlier.
What was your theory again?
My theory was that she doesn't experience the town like everybody else does.
Oh. I was going to say, along with Mike's too, because of the trauma.
Well, she is in a cameo, I guess, in Silent Hill Downpour.
Oh, good for her.
I don't know what that means.
Coming on back.
Or maybe she was real. And apparently, looking at here, it doesn't say that she's not real. But again, I don't know why she was called to the town then, or how she ended up in the town. This game doesn't bother to, explain.
Yeah.
So we're kind of getting near the end. I mean, it's also in the Nightmare Hospital where you have the double boss. After you run around, do some other dumb puzzles I can't remember.
You go through the Scooby-Doo doors where you go in one door and come out in a different hallway.
And then the rotating masks for the...
That was annoying.
Oh, God. Even with the guide, that was really annoying.
The guide was wrong.
Yep.
I had to watch a video and copy what he did to get through it.
I just trial and error. I just kept doing it until it worked.
Oh, and fun fact, she's wearing almost the same outfit as the girl in Con Air, by the way.
Little Casey.
Yeah. That's her name too, Casey Poe. I'm surprised. I guess you like that movie.
I do like that movie.
Good movie. That's neither here nor there. So you have the two pyramid fight, and I like how that fight starts off where you see Maria in some kind of weird contraption, and then they stab her again. They like stabbing her in this, and again, my brain just kept going to sexual things every time they stab her. I'm like, is that what it means? Is that what they're trying to tell me? But that could be I just have problems. I don't know.
If you look at that weird contraption again, it kind of looks like a bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brain went to different things, and that's what I was like, is that what they're trying to tell me? But it could just be my brain. So, I don't know. Because I was looking at everything in this game kind of with a sexual, like, is that what they're trying to say? Because this game has so much sexual things to it. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a sexual aspect to it, on the darker side mostly.
All right, and then after you do that, you have Angela Burney, where you find her or some point you find her in the stairwell where everything's on fire, and that, like you guys have said earlier, the one time where he recognizes the fire, which is, I guess when I was watching the video, they said it's because that they're so close together that they're seeing the same thing, where rest of the game they're not.
They were pretty close together when they were in the room. I think they were even closer in the room.
Maybe that's why he saw the doorman.
Maybe it's just him coming to terms with his own demons. He can start to recognize other people's.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
That's a good way. So, Adam, you had said earlier, like when you get up to meet Mary, there's a whole cutscene that plays. As I said, I have no idea what happened because I skipped it by accident. You should tell me.
Even before that, you're going through the hallway and you can hear the voiceover of her talking about.
I didn't stick around.
Yeah, so it's essentially you're walking down a hallway and she's talking about how James had brought flowers, but she refused them, yelling at James and saying that, because she's on this medicine that she's sick, she's, she doesn't deserve the flowers because she's ugly, and then tells him to leave. And then presumably after he leaves, you hear Mary just pleading, to come back, I miss you, I love you, type. And I think that's an actual real memory that you finally, well, not that there's not real memories in the game, but kind of like where the story is really coming together, and now you're hearing more of the sympathetic side for James almost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that's when you walk in to the room, and you'll be on the roof essentially after a staircase, and then there's Maria or Mary. I don't know which one to call it at this time, and you talk to her, and then that's when she transforms into a demonic nun on the bed. Kind of as the
I definitely
boss.
got a nun feel.
Yeah. Which I don't. I can put together some stuff in the game, but the demonic nun, I no idea. I'm just shrugging my shoulders on that one.
Well, when you have a family member who dies in the hospital, usually they have religious folks on staff to notify you. Like, I remember when my my grandma died of cancer in the hospital, they had a on-staff pastor who came to tell us. And so it's possible that the hospital she was in had nuns, and maybe one of them told him.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually. And he sees the nun as a bad person for... Well, no, because he killed his wife. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, she died, she was sick, and no, wait, he killed her.
Yeah. And he didn't kill her in the hospital, I'm thinking, because if he would have strangled her in the hospital, they might have go, sir, what are you doing with that pillow there? Sir, put down the pillow. Like, I feel like it might have went a little differently.
I just want her to see what it smells like. It's fine.
But what Helena said does completely make sense. It could be something like that. I just don't remember where he killed her in this.
I don't think they really ever indicated that. I mean, so after you defeat Nun Monster, you have a little scene where you're actually with Mary, and they get to talk honestly with each other about what happened. And she is in a hospital bed, so I would assume that he killed her in the hospital.
Yeah, no, I believe your point. Like, I think you are right.
I want to say the setup that you see there at the end is very similar to the one that Maria lays down in when you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's meant to be a direct parallel.
Could be. I mean, there's also in one random room you do find Mary's dress on a mannequin.
Oh.
It's already the flashlight, isn't it?
Oh, yeah!
I liked that noise. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Again, this game was a blur. I just played it quickly to beat it. Like, this was not something I was excited to do.
I wonder if the demonic nun is because nuns are one end of the good evil spectrum and demonic's on the other. I wonder if it's James trying to see both the good and the bad in Mary at the same time. I don't know.
I mean, it could be something like that.
I mean, because it.
I mean, I also want to say...
Yeah, after...
You go.
Oh, no. I was going to say, because after the fight, you get another letter from Mary that kind of goes into the ending of the game. And it's a very convoluted mess of words where she's asking for death, and then she's not asking for death, and then she's saying that she loves him, and then she says that this note's going on too long, and then continues the note for another but that makes sense, because James is conflicted. He doesn't know if he did the right thing, if he did the wrong thing. Did he do what Mary asked, or yeah.
She says during their conversation, I asked you to, and he was like, yeah, I did it for that. And then he kind of backtracks and he's like, I also kind of hated you because you put me through this, which is a really heartbreaking statement, but also I think that gets experienced a lot by folks who survive a dying family member.
Or just if you're in a romantic relationship with someone and they get very sick or they're unable to do things, I feel like it's normal to have that a resentment can come over time towards that person, because you can't have things that, speaking from my own personal experience with things that have happened in my life, I can completely see that. Yeah,
it was a very, very human response.
So it makes me not like knowing all that made me really not like James during this whole thing.
I have to say that ending made him a lot more, I could empathize with him a lot more.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I just don't like him because he killed somebody, I guess. I'm not sure. Just because I know I'm playing as a murderer, I'm like, But that could have just been me this time.
Now I'm kind of like I'm backtracking back to the Eddie fight. After he kills Eddie, he goes, "Oh my God, I killed someone. I killed a human."
And he's in denial.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the best way to put it. Like what we said earlier, he doesn't. You're probably like you said. I think someone said earlier he doesn't remember that he killed Mary and has no recollection of it.
Yeah, just a repressed memory.
Yeah, which I'm gonna bring this up anyway because I want to. I have noticed that this is side rant, but we're gonna have it anyway. Like, because I mean, speaking of repressed memories, I agree with this because I want to say it was last year. I'm pretty sure I ran into my ex and I could not recognize her. And this is before all the math. My brain just could not recognize her one bit. And I was with this woman for over a year, and I'm just like, is that her? It can't be her. I don't want it to be her. And I could not. My brain just not put it together. Then today, people are wearing masks because it's 2020, and I saw two people I used to work with. I recognized both of them just by seeing their eyes. I'm like, that's Vanessa, that's Crystal. And yet, when I saw my ex, I couldn't put it together, and I still don't know if it was actually her. And so, yes, trauma can really make your memory just completely forget something and not recognize something.
It really can. Yeah. I mean, I have a situation of that too. When I was living in Minnesota, I was held up at gunpoint, and I remember during the situation, I was literally looking at the guy with the gun, and I was looking at his face because I kept thinking, you have to remember what he looks like so you can report him. And even despite remembering, like, in the moment and paying attention to that and being mindful of it, when the police came, I was like, I think he had eyebrows, and that was literally all I could remember.
Yeah,
So
trauma does that.
Trauma fucks you up.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And it just reminded me of that situation, and then today it brought clear to me, and ever since I've been trying to like realize like I can recognize people's faces instantly, and yet in this situation I couldn't.
Like you said, your brain didn't want to remember.
No, I'm pretty sure it was her. Like she didn't say anything to me, but who knows? I don't know. I didn't get any threatening emails or anything, so I was okay with that.
Consider that a win for the end.
It was a win. She didn't threaten me again, or threaten Tiffany like she kept doing beforehand. I'm like, okay, cool, we're good. Someone did message me at one point. I did see. It might have been around that time that I like a year later. I found, I have a Facebook message, but there was nothing there, and the person didn't exist anymore. I'm like, okay, so it might have been her. But Messenger doesn't tell you when random people you're not friends with message you, so I had no idea.
Yeah, and like I said, I think always the Silent Hill, while it's part trauma, I think it's also part. You're in hell and you have to live over these things over and over again, and it being your personal hell, they're gonna make you forget certain aspects, so it hurts you more at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And this game also has multiple endings. I think we're about at that point.
Yeah, and I got the in water ending.
Oh, where James doesn't come back to life.
Yeah, no, he drives into the lake.
Yeah, it's implied that he kills himself.
Sure. I mean, makes sense. I mean, if you went through something like this and you had this happen to you, I mean, to live with that kind of guilt, knowing that you took your wife's life and all of a sudden now it's there.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting once you start reading about the endings and how In Water is kind of known as the canon. Because the first time you fight Pyramid Head, he walks down into water and disappears.
Oh yeah,
as the water, and then you finally go, and that's kind of James, like kind of foreshadowing James going into water. Also, after you kill Mary, the entire hotel is waterlogged and it's flooding.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also indicating, well, guess what? Well, guess what you're about to do.
Okay, I believe that could be the canon ending too, because that would make the most sense. Is that he just takes his own life.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing demon versions and killing your wife a second time, I don't know if I'd be okay.
So. I believe she died on her own the second time, at least.
Well, you put bullets in her.
Did you?
Well, I shot her.
Yeah, it forces you to at least deal the final blow when she's laying on the ground.
Yeah, so after the boss battle, she's laying on the ground and she goes, James. And then,
I shot her immediately.
Okay, that part. I thought you were talking about when she was on the bed and like started coughing and died.
Wait, but isn't she coughing because you shot her?
I assumed that it had to do with her illness because she was coughing earlier.
Should make more sense.
Yeah. And
I
then
just can't get over that I shot her. Did I tell you I hate James?
Yes.
I wonder if I mentioned that yet.
Apparently, some point in Silent Hill 4, it says that James and Mary disappeared in Silent Hill, meaning they have canonically disappeared. And apparently, the novelization uses the in-water ending.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. I got the ending where he's walking in the cemetery with Laura.
Yeah, where they leave to start a new life, I guess. Yeah. Same one I got.
What about you, Helena? What did the guy you watched get? Or is it the same as Adam?
It was the in-water.
Oh, yeah, because Adam didn't finish this game either. The game Silent Hill broke him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
We keep bringing out such great games like the Number Overture, Silent Hill.
Oh, God.
No, it like, and I was excited. I was like, I did Portal last time. Now I get to do Silent Hill 2. I love these games. This is going to be awesome. And Portal was awesome.
Yeah, you're right. Portal is still awesome.
Yeah, Silent Hill 2, kind of.
And I know there's a... Yes.
It didn't age well. That's one of the things. It just didn't age well. In the genre of survival horror, we've had so many improvements, and I mean, technology in itself has helped. But this one just kind of doesn't age well.
No, it has its issues, and it does have a couple different endings. I'm not going to go over all, but I know there's one where the whole time is a Shiba Inu that's controlling things in the town. The joke ending.
Yeah, all Silent Hills have a dog/UFO ending, and you know, you normally have to beat the game multiple times or under strict rules, but yeah, every Silent Hill game, I think since the first one, there is either the dog or like a UFO ending. So that's kind of like now, like when you play a Silent Hill game, you play it for the story, and the second time you're like, all right, how do I get this ending?
You don't have to worry about that with any new Silent Hill games, though.
There is apparently a new one in works.
There is?
Apparently there's a new one in the works.
Is it a pachinko machine game? I can believe that.
I mean, we can only hope. We can only hope that that's what we get. Apparently it's not... It's kind of a reboot, a small reboot of the series. It seems like it's going. So I don't think it's not Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro's version that we all wanted with the PT trailer. But all I know is there's a Silent Hill in the works, and I'm excited.
Yes, it's being directed by the original creator of Silent Hill.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad. I probably have no plan to play any more of these games anytime soon, but I'm glad they're making more, finally.
Yeah.
Hopefully it fares better than the most recent Metal Gear. Metal Gear Survive.
What? I've never heard of this game.
It's the...
No. I've heard of it.
Okay.
It exists.
I really want to play it one day.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
I like bad games.
I played it for like 45 minutes. I'm like, what even is this game?
All right. Are you guys ready to go to questions, comments, and memories?
Sure am.
I have a few. We'll start with the first. I have a question from Sebastian Games. What do you think of the music? I can't.
Very 90s.
I saw... Go ahead, Adam.
Oh, no, I was going to say, when the music's there, it's bumping. It's good. It adds to the atmosphere. I liked it. I really enjoyed the music.
So we know what Mike's answer is because he doesn't play games with sound. But like I played the whole game with sound, and I don't remember any music. All I remember is the static coming out of the radio.
Yeah, that's all I heard too. When I did have the sound on, but then it got to a point when the headphones came out and I was done.
Like, honey, what the fuck are you doing?
Hey, when I play Chrono Trigger, the sound will be on from start to finish.
Yeah.
But that is one of the few games that can do it for me. Because of Chrono Trigger, I like the Rick Rolled song a lot, because it has the same beat as Robo's theme. So, yeah.
It's a small soundtrack in the game, and it's mostly accompanied by loud banging. So, but it is there, and it normally does dissipate when you kill an enemy. But every time it did come on, I always nodded my head. It's the little that's there. It's great.
I wonder how I missed it.
You didn't care, just like me.
I just wanted it to be over. Yeah,
we both were just like, get me out of here. Well, all right. This one from Ronald Frazier. Who knows? Back in 2010 or so, I thought the HD collection was a great bargain. Turns out those versions are crap, and I haven't gone back since. That's what I've heard too. From Joe Goats, horror game scared the living hell out of me, so I didn't play it. It was scary. It's not that scary.
It's not that scary.
Especially on baby difficulty.
Yeah.
From Zach Gilou, my comment is that they should adequately remaster Silent Hill 1 through 4 for modern consoles. Akira Yamaoka is a GOAT video game composer, and the soundtrack for Silent Hill 2 is his masterpiece. You mean the radio?
I'm gonna have to look this up later. I feel like I'm missing out.
A lot of the songs are actually in the intro and in the endings. So every ending has its own song too. Which that showcases the soundtrack a lot more. Besides like little cutscenes here and there and some of the boss or fights. Yeah, it is it's so good if you're listening.
All right, and I have some from the Silent Hill Lovers group that I posted in. First one from Kathleen Green. I'm a fan that started with the first game when I was 9. I played 2 and 3 a lot in high school. You were too young to play the first one. I have a video of my children eating watermelon in front of the TV playing Silent Hill 2 opening. Okay. I really drifted away from the series after 4. Most of what I play now that is newer is horror point and click games. Is it point and click or point? Yeah, point and click games. I wish there were more horror games with puzzles and horror. Do you think there's a future for games like Silent Hill?
Absolutely. There's always a future for games that make us scared. I mean, Amnesia. Once you look at how the survival horror games have progressed, they just keep getting better and better and better. And Silent Hill needs its remake. It needs its reboot. It needs time to shine on the newer generation or even next generation consoles and remind us why, in my opinion, it was the GOAT. And when Silent Hill 2 came out, I remember distinctly going, this is the greatest, scariest game of all time. And I thought that for 19 years. I don't think it was the scariest. I still think Fatal Frame 2 might hold my spot for the number 1 best survival horror game.
That was almost on the show.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got taken off the schedule. Holy crap.
Yeah, unfortunately due to reason. But yes, I did not play that.
And then just a quick shout out to Kathleen. I'm so sorry that we roasted this game. Please keep listening.
She's even still here at this point. She's like, what the fuck? These guys are assholes. That's what I would be thinking. All right, from Jose Antonio Gonzalez Visuet. This is my favorite survival horror game ever. Have you played it recently, sir? The story, the writing of the characters, that amazing plot twist by the end of the game, the atmosphere, enemy, and sound design, the music. Yeah, you should go replay it. I'm curious.
You know, this conversation has really, I wouldn't play it again, but I think this conversation has made me appreciate it a little more than I did while watching the playthrough.
Me too, actually. I can't believe it.
And I think one of the reasons that it held up back in the day is, I'm going to say it one more time, I was dumb. I didn't try to think too much into the characters. I just took it as what it was. This is a scary kid that shot people. This is a scary pyramid head with a giant sword. You know, it was. And at the time, the graphics were amazing and it was scary. The fact that the scares don't hold up so much and you do start focusing on the characters and the story a little bit more, kind of it takes away from the survival horror and just more psychological horror, which isn't a bad thing, but I think it slows down the game because you're trying to look for more info. You want more answers, but it's just not there.
But I agree with Helena. My opinion has improved of this game as we talk.
Yeah.
It's still not good, but it has very much improved. And I have some from the Silent Hill Heaven group. I got a lot of comments. I'm not reading majority of them, but I will read a couple that are standing out to me. This one from Vargo Man. Christmas 01. Told mom I wanted Silent Hill 2 for Christmas. My brother wanted a different game. I remember Christmas morning, my brother got Silent Hill 2 and I got the game he wanted. I just looked at mom and she said, whoops, Santa made a mistake. And another one from Sean Lang. My oldest brother got it for his birthday when it released. So all my siblings, 5 of us, all sat around the TV with notebooks playing through the game. It was amazing. That'd be a very interesting way to play it.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally how I played it. Man.
And this one from Muhammad Irfan. I never really understood why church wasn't included in Silent Hill 2 or why they made a story away from the Silent Hill 1 lore. Well, good news. They go back to it in the next game. So,
Yeah.
And I got one last group to read a couple questions, but we're about to wrap this up. From the Silent Hill fan group, the Uri. I don't know what that means. Okay, this one from you, Daddy. 8th grade at lunch, burning a fatty, hearing some friends about the UFO ending. It sounded stupid. I had to read it. All right. One is in Spanish, so I can't read that. Let's see, I want to read one more, then we're going to wrap this up. Let's see if I can find one I actually want that I like. Okay, from Clement Castro. The day I got Silent Hill 1 from my cousin's house, he was... Oh, no, never mind. I just remember that one is. Okay, last one I'm reading. From Zero Brightness, a fellow podcast that I actually I listen to every so often. How can you just sit there eating pizza? It's probably... I'm pretty sure it's James Wooder is the guy's name. He's a friend of mine on Facebook. It's a pretty good podcast, too. It covers horror games. Check him out. He's... One of his co-hosts is from Minnesota, and he's in Texas, but he's a pretty cool guy.
Sweet. I want to listen to that podcast.
You probably would like it. I tried, and I can't. His opinion of Alan Wake is wrong.
Oh, no.
Other than that, he does a good show.
Are you starting a feud?
No, I told him before many times when he kept complaining about Alan Wake. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm sorry, that's a good game. He hates Alan Wake. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good podcast. You would probably like it, Helena, too, because you like horror stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and I think we should go to Shelf or Box.
Yeah.
And Helena, why don't you go first?
I think I can appreciate this game for what it is. And I think that at the time that it came out, it was probably really, well, it definitely was really transformative. And we can see that with how it's ranked in all of these different like top 100 games of all time and all of that. And it, when you told me that you were doing this show, I've never seen a Silent Hill movie. I've never played one of the games before, but the name is just so big that I was like, I have to do it. And so for as much shit as I've talked about this game, I think I would shelve it, but let it be on a shelf that collects dust and never play it again.
Good way to do it.
Yeah.
That's a perfect way to do it.
What was the thing that you said that one time, Adam? How you put grandma in the home and you never visit her? I think that's what I would do with this game.
I think that was in the other Silent Hill episode.
It was. Yeah, it was.
Origins.
You got to respect your elders and where they come from, but there's sometimes you got to put grandpa in the home and just let them be.
I forgot about that joke until just now.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, why don't you go next?
I've been so convoluted back and forth, and while playing it, I was like, oh, this is going in the box. But while talking about it, and just like the little things that we've all pointed out, and where we've had several, oh yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense moments. It brought me back to when I originally played it, and how great it was, and just, the talks that we had. It does go up on the shelf. It is a cult classic. It is Silent Hill 2. There's so many references that come from this game. If I had to choose between playing Silent Hill 2 or Resident Evil 2, it's like a 51-49% in the favor of Silent Hill 2.
What?
I trust me. And it's just because the thought-provoking stuff. If I was to play this game again, I might see something else that I didn't notice before, and I might just kind of fine-tune it again. And I want to get the dog ending. Like, I know there's a dog ending out there, and I haven't seen it. And it goes on the shelf because it is Silent Hill 2, and didn't age well, but it is what it is.
Okay. I'll go next. I'd actually you guys have also turned me as we've been talking about, because I didn't really enjoy the game in this playthrough, but I'm also going to put it on the shelf just because I've enjoyed talking about it so much, and it's something that I don't know if I recommend people to go back to it. I recommend people to get in a time machine, go back to 2010 or 2005, replay this game, and then don't come back in 2020. Just come back in 2021 or 2022. Skip 2020.
Exactly.
But
yes,
it's just one of those games that I respect what it was, so I'm going to put it on the shelf, even though I did not really enjoy it this time around. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, so I beat this game days ago. I hated every minute of playing this. Like, did not enjoy any of it. I fully expected to come in this episode and just absolutely tear it apart. But like you guys have said, like all this thought-provoking stuff makes me really appreciate the story that I didn't pay attention to. Like, it's kind of crazy to have any kind of appreciation for this. I thought, like, I'm going to go in here, I'm not going to say anything, everyone's going to hate me. But yeah, like, I kind of want to put it on the shelf just because, like, after this, I feel like I want to go and look up more of these fan theories. It's crazy to think about. So yeah, on the shelf of all places.
Oh, that is not where I expected this to go.
Me
This conversation
neither.
started, all four of us.
Yeah, we had a little Silent Hill plot twist there at the end of this episode, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Jeez.
Oh, I think that's all we... Oh, I should introduce what we're talking about next week. We're going to be talking about Darkwing Duck next week.
The show or the game?
The game for NES.
A little bit of the show.
No, a little bit more of the show than I anticipated. Spoiler, we already recorded Darkwing Duck. I just saw what we really... Yeah. We recorded ahead of time. I skipped the number.
It's a good one. Check it out.
Because in order to get me ahead a week, and this was already announced, I recorded Darkwing Duck last week, which is episode 81. This is episode 80. So there's your insider baseball.
Yep.
Now I'm confused.
It means I don't have to rush record Sunday night and edit and get it up Monday night. I can just have it done already.
Yay.
That's
Nice.
not a good idea, especially when I used to have off Mondays, so that's why I started, and I don't have off Mondays anymore. All right, and I think we should go to outro and plugs. First, I want to thank Helena and Adam for coming on the show with us.
It is always a pleasure, except when it's not.
No more penumbra, I promise.
I
hate that game.
It was shorter than Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, that was terrible. Every second of it. So, and I also want to give an awesome shout out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Bobby, aka Mike Stoney from his EP Bite the Bullet. Song is the Cool Kid Squad. So definitely go and check him out. You'll see a link in the YouTube for his YouTube in the show notes. I also want to say, if you like this episode, we covered a few different Silent Hills. We covered Silent Hill Origins back. God, I can't remember what number that was, but Adam was on the episode. That's still my favorite Silent Hill game, easy so far. And we covered Silent Hill 1, episode 2. And we covered the film at one point. So if you need more Silent Hill, check those out.
Let's do 3 and 4. I want to do The Room.
At some point, I will.
I'm pushing for Shattered Dimensions, or Shattered
Memories.
There you
I'm
go.
okay with Shattered Dimensions, too.
Yeah, that was Spider-Man. Totally
Shattered
different
Memories
game.
is actually pretty damn good, too.
I love that game.
I've never played it very far, so I definitely want to go and tackle that. And I think that's... Oh, yeah, and please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, where I'm constantly posting images and whatever new is going on with the show, so definitely check us out over there. And we will see you guys all next time.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Ta-ta.
Bye.